Alex floated quietly through the narrow corridors of the remote space station, his boots making soft echoes against the metallic floor. The station had been his home for months, a lonely outpost orbiting a small, unremarkable star. It was a place built for research, for quiet observation, and for the kind of solitude that most people found unbearable. But Alex didn't mind. He liked the silence. He liked the hum of the station's systems and the faint vibration beneath his feet that reminded him he was still alive, still human, still capable of doing something that mattered. He had just finished checking the energy readings from the observation deck when the unexpected happened. A soft click, almost imperceptible, echoed from the airlock. He froze, his hand instinctively moving to the small plasma torch he kept strapped to his utility belt. The airlock door hissed open slowly, and through the small window he saw a figure moving boldly inside the station. Alex's heart thumped. Visitors weren't supposed to arrive here. This station was remote for a reason. The nearest human civilization was several light days away, and unauthorized visitors meant trouble. But the figure didn't seem hostile. She moved with confidence, almost as if the station belonged to her. Then, in a way that left Alex momentarily speechless, she removed the bulky outer layer of her spacesuit, revealing a sleek suit of advanced material beneath. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the station's dim lights. She stepped onto the observation deck, her movements deliberate. Alex's first instinct was to ask questions, to demand an explanation. But the words stuck in his throat. The woman, or rather the alien, had an aura of calm authority that made hesitation impossible. She turned to face him, and her eyes glowed faintly, not like any human eyes he had ever seen. There was intelligence there, curiosity, and something more, a sense of purpose that radiated with quiet power. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice smooth and clear, carrying across the metal room. "I apologize for entering without permission, but time is short. I need your help." Alex blinked. "My help? I don't even know you. Why would I help someone I just met?" Lyra's gaze didn't waver. "Because the fate of many depends on it. Your species has something I cannot do alone." Alex's mind raced. He was trained for emergencies, for dealing with unexpected situations, but nothing in his experience prepared him for this. He studied her suit, the way it seemed alive in its adaptability, the intricate patterns of circuitry that ran beneath the surface. "Okay, suppose I believe you. Why me?" Lyra's lips curved slightly, almost imperceptibly. "Because you think like a human. You can solve problems in ways my people cannot, and that is exactly what is needed now." Alex swallowed hard. He wanted to argue, to refuse, to insist that she leave immediately, but curiosity got the better of him. "Fine," he said. "I'll listen, but I don't promise anything else." Lyra nodded once, almost in approval. "That is all I ask." She moved toward the console, her hands passing over controls that Alex didn't recognize. Lights flashed, holographic screens projected into the air, and a strange hum filled the room. Alex stared, unable to tear his eyes away. The alien technology was unlike anything he had ever seen. It was elegant, efficient, and dangerous looking, but not in a threatening way. It was the kind of technology that could save lives, or end them, depending on the user. "I come from a distant civilization," Lyra explained. "We discovered a threat. A fleet is moving across the stars with the intent to conquer. They are not like us, they do not negotiate, they destroy." Alex's stomach sank. He had always hoped that humanity wasn't alone in the universe, that other civilizations were out there. But this was worse than he imagined. "How long do we have?" he asked. Lyra's glowing eyes softened slightly. "Not long. They are fast, organized, and relentless. We need information only a human mind can gather. Strategies, improvisation, thinking outside predictable patterns. That is why I am here." Alex's hands clenched. The weight of the situation pressed down on him. He had been alone for so long, focused on calculations, readings, and monitoring distant stars, and now, suddenly, He was facing a problem that could affect millions, maybe billions of lives. He took a deep breath. All right, where do we start? Lyra smiled faintly. First, you need to see the signal. She led him to a larger console in the corner of the observation deck. Holographic projections of star systems, fleets, and streams of data filled the air. Alex felt his mind expand as he tried to comprehend it all. Lines of light traced the paths of enemy ships, projected over maps of planets and colonies. Patterns emerged: movement, supply chains, weaknesses in their formation. This is incredible, Alex whispered. I've never seen anything like it. You must, Lyra said simply, because understanding this is the key to stopping them. For hours they worked together. Lyra explained the alien technology and the ways their enemies operated. Alex contributed by analyzing patterns in ways Lyra hadn't considered. His intuition, his experience with unpredictability, and his human perspective offered insights she could not achieve alone. Slowly, a plan began to take shape. But it wasn't just work. Alex noticed the small things: how Lyra's suit adapted seamlessly to every action, how she remained calm even when the data indicated imminent danger, and how her presence made the cold, empty station feel less lonely. Despite the situation, he felt a strange sense of companionship, a reminder that even in the vast, unfeeling universe, connection was possible. As the hours passed, Alex began to understand something important. Humanity was not weak. Humans were resourceful, courageous, unpredictable, and that unpredictability could save entire civilizations. Lyra, with all her advanced technology, recognized it too. She glanced at him occasionally, her glowing eyes reflecting both admiration and hope. Just when Alex thought he could rest, an alert flashed across the console. They're closer than expected, Lyra said, her voice calm but urgent. We have little time before the fleet reaches human-occupied systems. Alex's heart raced. He realized that this mission would be dangerous, maybe more dangerous than anything he had faced before. But he also realized that he had a choice. He could stay in the quiet safety of his station, or he could act, and in doing so, prove the strength of humanity. He squared his shoulders and met Lyra's gaze. Then we don't waste time. Let's see what humans can do. Lyra nodded. Good. We leave in the morning. Rest now if you can. You'll need your strength. But sleep was impossible. Alex stared out of the observation deck's wide viewport at the stars stretching endlessly into the void. He thought about the millions of lives depending on him, the courage of humanity, and the strange twist of fate that had brought an alien stranger to his doorstep. For the first time in months, he didn't feel alone. He felt part of something, much larger than himself, a universe where humans could make a difference. Hours passed and the station remained quiet except for the soft hum of the engines and the occasional beep of a console. Alex tried to focus on rest, but his mind raced with possibilities, strategies, and fears. He had never imagined that his skills honed in solitude would be tested on a scale this vast. But one thing was clear: humanity would not be a passive player. And if he had any say, humanity would stand tall. Finally, exhaustion claimed him, and he drifted into a restless sleep. In the corner of the observation deck, Lyra continued her work, analyzing the enemy fleet, planning their next move. The alien and the human were an unlikely pair, but together they held the potential to change the course of the galaxy. And somewhere far away, the enemy fleet moved closer, unaware that the unpredictable power of humanity was about to meet them. In that moment, Alex didn't know the challenges he would face, the dangers that awaited, or the courage he would be forced to summon. But he did know one thing: he would not back down, not while the stars themselves depended on him. Morning light filtered weakly through the observation deck's reinforced windows, cutting through the darkness of space like thin threads of hope. Alex awoke slowly, muscles stiff from a restless night, and found Lyra already at the main console. Her movements were precise and calm, fingers dancing over holographic controls as if she were conducting an invisible symphony. She looked up at him, her eyes glowing faintly, a signal that she had been expecting him. "Good morning," she said. "There is no time to waste. The fleet is moving faster than anticipated. We must act. Alex rubbed his eyes and stretched, his mind still foggy from sleep. He followed her to the main console, trying to understand the alien displays that shimmered in midair. Streams of data moved in patterns that made sense only to those who could see them as a living map. He focused, slowly interpreting the symbols and trajectories, realizing how vital his human perspective was to translate them into a usable plan. Lyra explained the situation in detail. The hostile fleet was not only large but strategically organized. Its ships were designed for speed and destruction, relying on advanced coordination that allowed them to outmaneuver most defense systems. Lyra's people had tried to stop them in the past, but only humans had the ability to think unpredictably. Alex realized that his role was more than just helping. He was a key component in a battle that spanned light years. They began preparing for their first action. Alex worked alongside Lyra to modify the station's own systems. They enhanced sensors, adjusted communication relays, and created a network of decoys that could mislead enemy scouts. Every decision felt like threading a needle through a storm. Mistakes could be fatal, but Alex's ingenuity, honed in months of solitary observation, began to shine. He devised a plan to intercept an enemy reconnaissance probe approaching human colonies. Using a combination of the station's sensors and Lyra's alien technology, they could predict the probe's path and block its signal, hiding key information about human positions. Alex explained his reasoning to Lyra, and she nodded with approval. "Your approach is unconventional," she said, "but I see its logic. We will proceed." The hours passed in a blur of calculations, system tests, and simulations. Alex realized that the human mind had an edge in unpredictability. While Lyra's technology was powerful, it relied on patterns and logic. Humans, by contrast, could improvise, adapt, and think in ways that defied expectation. Alex felt a surge of pride, not arrogance, but a quiet acknowledgement of the potential humanity carried into the stars. Finally, they were ready. Lyra guided Alex to the observation deck's control chair. He strapped in, nerves tingling with both fear and excitement. Outside the viewport, the stars stretched endlessly, vast and indifferent. Somewhere among them, the enemy probe moved, unaware that two humans, or rather a human and an alien, were about to interfere. Alex activated the station's defense network, sending signals through the stars like invisible threads. Lyra monitored the alien probe's movements, predicting its responses. Alex directed the relay of signals, adjusting pathways and creating false targets. The probe slowed, its sensors confused. Then it changed direction entirely, moving away from human colonies and back into empty space. Alex exhaled slowly, his hands shaking slightly. "We did it," he said. Lyra's eyes glowed faintly brighter. "Yes, but this is only the beginning. The main fleet is still on the move. They will not be deterred by a single probe." They spent the next several hours analyzing the probe's data. Even in defeat, the enemy had left traces of their strategy. Alex studied the patterns carefully, his mind racing to anticipate their next move. Lyra watched him work, occasionally suggesting refinements but mostly letting him lead. "I am impressed," she said after a long silence. "Your understanding of risk and improvisation is remarkable. I can see why my people value human judgment in situations like this." Alex felt a mixture of pride and humility. "It's not just me," he said. "It's humans in general. We're not always predictable, but we survive. That's our strength." By midday, they had formulated a larger strategy. They would not only block enemy reconnaissance but also create diversions to protect multiple human colonies. Alex suggested using automated drones to simulate fleets where none existed, sending signals that would make the enemy think human defenses were stronger than they actually were. Lyra adapted the plan using her technology, creating a hybrid of human improvisation and alien precision. They began executing the plan immediately. Outside the viewport, the station's drones and decoys moved into formation, invisible to the naked eye but highly effective in disrupting enemy sensors. Alex monitored the operation, adjusting paths and responses in real time. The enemy fleet was approaching faster than expected, but Alex's human intuition allowed him to predict its behavior in ways Lyra could not. The first encounter with the enemy fleet was intense. Sensors detected multiple waves of ships converging on a distant human colony. Alex and Lyra worked in tandem, issuing commands and adjusting strategies on the fly. Explosions lit up distant space, but their interventions minimized damage. Human colonies remained safe, though the battle had only begun. Alex realized the enormity of the situation. Entire civilizations depended on quick thinking, courage, and the willingness to act without certainty. He felt both fear and exhilaration. For the first time, he truly understood the power of humanity, not just physical strength, but ingenuity, adaptability, and resolve. Hours turned into days as they continued coordinating defenses. Alex and Lyra barely rested, their minds constantly analyzing, predicting, and responding. Despite the stress, a bond began to form between them. They learned to trust each other completely, their skills complementing one another. Lyra's advanced technology paired with Alex's human intuition became an unexpected but powerful combination. During a rare, quiet moment, Alex looked out at the stars, marveling at the vastness of space. He thought about how small humans seemed in the grand scheme, yet how significant their actions could be. One person, one decision, one human mind could make the difference between survival and destruction. It was a humbling thought, but also empowering. Lyra broke the silence. Alex, your people underestimate themselves. They rely too much on routine and protocol. But your creativity, your unpredictability, it is why humans survive where others fail. Alex smiled faintly. We've survived a lot, haven't we? Maybe that's why we can handle this. Lyra's expression softened. Yes. And now with your help, we can turn the tide of this conflict. But you must be ready. The enemy fleet is learning. They will adapt. And soon the decisions you make may affect not just one colony, but many worlds. Alex's jaw tightened. I'm ready. We'll do what needs to be done. Over the following hours, they continued refining their strategy. Alex proposed unconventional maneuvers, using asteroid fields for cover, altering energy signatures to confuse enemy sensors, and coordinating with distant human outposts for synchronized actions. Lyra implemented these suggestions flawlessly, amazed at the subtle brilliance of human improvisation. Their combined efforts began to show results. Enemy movements grew more cautious. Probes returned with fewer details, and human colonies remained largely safe. Every success reinforced the idea that humanity was more than just a species. It was a force of unpredictability in a universe that often assumed perfection or logic could dominate. As night fell, or the station's version of night, Alex finally allowed himself a brief moment of rest. He lay back in the observation chair, staring at the stars, his mind racing but at peace for a fleeting moment. Lyra remained at the console, a silent guardian and partner in this cosmic struggle. Alex thought about the journey ahead. The challenges would only grow. The enemy fleet was vast, cunning, and relentless. But he also knew something essential. Humans could surprise anyone, even a technologically superior alien species. Their unpredictability, courage, and creativity could make a difference where logic alone might fail. And so, as the stars shimmered endlessly around them, Alex felt a quiet determination settle in his chest. He would face whatever came next. With Lyra by his side and the strength of humanity behind him, he would not falter. Not now, not ever. The battle was far from over. The enemy fleet would not give up easily, and the next encounter promised to be even more dangerous. But Alex and Lyra had proven something important. The combination of human courage and alien technology could challenge even the most formidable forces. And in the vast, indifferent expanse of space, that was a lesson worth remembering. Alex awoke to a soft alarm, the station shaking slightly as though reacting to a distant force. The viewport showed nothing unusual at first, just the endless stretch of stars. But Lyra was already at the console, eyes glowing faintly as she monitored the sensors. "They're here," she said without looking at him, her tone calm but urgent. "The enemy fleet is closer than we expected. They're preparing for a direct assault." Alex sat up quickly, the adrenaline surging through him. He had been preparing for this moment, but nothing could fully prepare a person for the reality of facing such a massive threat. He strapped himself into the control chair beside Lyra and began running diagnostics, checking the station's defensive systems. Even with all the technology at his disposal, Alex felt the familiar weight of responsibility pressing down on him. Lyra's fingers moved over the console with precision, activating shields, cloaking devices, and energy barriers. "The fleet is approaching in waves," she said. Their main strike force is behind smaller ships, likely scouting and testing our defenses. We must act now to protect human colonies. Alex's mind raced. He had to think like a human, but act faster than any human ever could. We need to lure the scouting ships away first, he suggested. If we can isolate them, we can neutralize the smaller threats without exposing the colonies. Lyra glanced at him, her glowing eyes reflecting a hint of approval. Your plan is risky, but I see its logic. Let's proceed. Together, they directed a series of decoy drones to simulate a vulnerable convoy near a nearby asteroid field. Alex manually adjusted the drone's energy signatures to appear like human ships, while Lyra enhanced the cloaking patterns to make the illusion even more convincing. Within minutes, the scouting ships detected the fake convoy and moved toward it, taking the bait. Good, Lyra said. Now we can focus on the main fleet. Alex felt a thrill of satisfaction. Humanity's ingenuity, combined with Lyra's technology, had already disrupted the enemy's plans. But there was no time to celebrate. The main fleet was massive, far larger than anything Alex had imagined. Each ship was heavily armed and shielded, designed to obliterate targets with precision. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what was to come. They began analyzing the enemy formation. The fleet moved in tight patterns, their ships communicating instantly with one another. Predicting their movements required a combination of logic and intuition. Alex studied the patterns carefully, noting subtle variations in speed and angle. They're testing our reactions, he said. They're looking for weaknesses. We can't let them find any. Lyra nodded. I will handle energy shields and weapon targeting. You focus on strategy and improvisation. For hours, they coordinated defenses, making adjustments in real time. Alex directed the station's automated weapons to target weak points, while Lyra enhanced the shields to absorb incoming fire. Explosions lit up the void outside, but the station held firm. Alex felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. Each moment tested his skills and his ability to think ahead. Every decision mattered. Every action could save or endanger lives. At one point, a larger enemy ship broke through the outer defenses, moving dangerously close to the station. Alex's mind worked quickly, combining human creativity with Lyra's technology. He suggested a maneuver that involved using the station's gravity field to slingshot a drone fleet around the enemy ship, confusing its sensors and causing it to miscalculate its trajectory. Lyra implemented the idea immediately, her suit's adaptive systems enhancing the drone's movements. The enemy ship faltered, veering off course, and Alex allowed himself a brief sigh of relief. That worked, he said, a hint of pride in his voice. Lyra looked at him, her eyes glowing softly. Your intuition saved lives. Do not underestimate the power of human thinking. As the battle continued, Alex noticed something remarkable. Despite the enemy fleet's overwhelming technology, their tactics were predictable once he understood the patterns. Humans had survived countless challenges on Earth by observing, adapting, and improvising. In space, those same qualities could turn the tide against a seemingly invincible enemy. Hours passed like minutes. Alex and Lyra worked tirelessly, their coordination growing stronger with each passing moment. They moved in sync, a team of human and alien minds united against a common threat. The station's defenses held, the drones continued to disrupt enemy formations, and the decoy operations drew the bulk of the attacking forces away from vulnerable colonies. But the enemy was not easily deterred. A sudden surge of ships approached, moving faster than anything Alex had seen. Their energy signatures were unstable, unpredictable, and dangerous. Lyra's fingers flew over the console, adjusting shields and redirecting power to critical systems. They are adapting to our tactics, she warned. We must think faster than they can anticipate. Alex's mind raced. He recalled Earth strategies used in history: improvisation, deception, and rapid adaptation. He applied these principles to the battle, directing the station's weapons in unexpected patterns and creating new diversions. The enemy ships faltered, their coordination disrupted by the unpredictable human logic. As the enemy fleet reeled, Alex realized the true power of humanity. It was not technology, not weapons, but the ability to think creatively under pressure, to act decisively when rules and logic failed. He felt a surge of confidence. Humans were capable of more than they realized, and he was witnessing it firsthand. Suddenly, an alarm blared across the station. A massive enemy vessel had broken through the outer defenses and was targeting a nearby human colony. Alex's heart pounded. "We have to stop it," he shouted. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "We can, but it will require precise timing and risk everything." Alex nodded. "Do it." They executed a daring maneuver. Using the station's gravitic field, they created a trap that lured the enemy ship into a narrow corridor of space. Alex calculated the trajectory, the timing, and the force required. Lyra adjusted the energy shields and weapon systems to amplify the effect. The enemy ship entered the trap and became ensnared, unable to move or communicate. Alex allowed himself a brief smile. "That should hold it. For now." Lyra glanced at him, a rare expression of admiration on her face. "You are remarkable, Alex. Humans are remarkable. Do not forget this. The battle was not over, but they had achieved a significant victory. The colonies were safe for the moment, and the enemy fleet had been slowed." Alex felt exhaustion creeping in, but he also felt a sense of accomplishment. Their combined efforts had made a difference, proving that humanity could stand against even the most advanced threats. As the immediate danger passed, Alex and Lyra began analyzing the next phase. They studied the enemy fleet's patterns, identified potential weaknesses, and planned their next moves. Every moment counted. Every decision could tip the balance of the battle. Despite the constant pressure, Alex found a strange comfort in Lyra's presence. She was not just a partner in battle, but a reminder of the larger universe and the potential humanity carried. Her trust in him reinforced his confidence, and he realized that humans were capable of forging alliances that transcended species, technology, and distance. As night, or the station's equivalent, fell, Alex allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. He looked out at the stars, thinking about the battles yet to come and the courage required to face them. He thought about humanity, fragile yet resilient, small yet capable of extraordinary feats. And he understood that the key to survival was not strength alone but adaptability, creativity, and the willingness to act when others hesitated. Lyra approached quietly, her presence calm and reassuring. "Rest now, Alex," she said. "The enemy will strike again. But remember what you have achieved today. You have shown the universe the power of human courage and ingenuity." Alex nodded, exhaustion finally taking hold. He lay back in the observation chair, staring at the stars. The battle was far from over, but for the first time he felt truly capable of facing whatever came next. Humanity had been tested and it had not failed, and somewhere in the vast darkness of space, the enemy fleet regrouped, unaware that they had encountered a force far more unpredictable and dangerous than they had anticipated. Human courage, creativity, and resolve. Alex closed his eyes, letting the hum of the station and the quiet of space lull him into a deep sleep. Tomorrow the battle would continue, but tonight he had proven something important, not just to Lyra, not just to himself, but to the universe. Humans could fight, humans could adapt, and humans could survive against unimaginable odds. And that knowledge, more than any weapon or shield, was humanity's greatest strength. The stars outside the observation deck glittered like shards of glass scattered across a black canvas. Alex stood beside Lyra, studying the holographic display of the enemy fleet. Each ship's movement was precise, organized, and relentless. Yet, despite the overwhelming scale, Alex's mind worked methodically, tracing patterns, predicting trajectories, and calculating the best points of attack. "The enemy is reorganizing," Lyra said, her voice calm but tense. "They are preparing a direct assault on multiple human colonies simultaneously. Our previous maneuvers have slowed them, but they have adapted. This will require more than defense. We must strike." Alex's hands clenched on the console. Striking the enemy fleet directly was dangerous, nearly suicidal, but he understood that waiting would cost countless lives. "We can't just react," he said. "We need to force them into a position where our actions matter most. Draw them into the path we control, where we can predict and control the outcome." Lyra nodded slowly, a faint glow in her eyes. "It is a bold plan. I will trust your judgment, Alex. Let us begin." They worked side by side, combining human improvisation with alien technology. Alex suggested using the asteroid field nearby not just as cover, but as a weapon. "If we can lure the larger ships into the field," he explained, "we can use its gravitational pull and debris to disrupt their formations. Smaller vessels can maneuver through safely. but the fleet's coordination will collapse. Lyra studied his calculations, her fingers moving over the holographic display to simulate the scenario. "It is risky," she said, "but it may work. We can enhance your plan with energy barriers to guide their movements precisely. Let us proceed." Hours passed as they prepared. Automated drones were deployed to create false signatures, simulating fleets where none existed. Energy barriers were positioned carefully, invisible to enemy sensors but capable of steering ships along predetermined paths. Alex coordinated every detail, continuously adjusting for potential errors, predicting enemy reactions, and anticipating weaknesses. When the enemy fleet appeared on the horizon, Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. Thousands of ships glimmered against the darkness, their weapon systems bristling with lethal intent. Lyra activated the station's long-range cloaking field, hiding their position while the drones created the illusion of vulnerability. Alex's pulse quickened. This was the moment of truth. As the enemy advanced, Alex's calculations proved correct. The larger ships, drawn to the apparent weakness, moved into the asteroid field. The gravitational pull and shifting debris disrupted their formations, causing collisions and forcing emergency maneuvers. Smaller enemy vessels, expecting a clear path, were caught in the chaos, their coordination shattered. Lyra's voice broke through the tense silence. "It is working. Now, Alex, take the initiative." Alex nodded and activated the station's precision weapon systems. Guided by his calculations and Lyra's technology, they struck the enemy ships with pinpoint accuracy. The results were immediate. Explosions lit the asteroid field, debris scattering in all directions, taking down multiple enemy vessels. The fleet's advance faltered, confusion spreading rapidly. Despite the chaos, Alex remained focused. He adjusted defenses for the station while simultaneously guiding drones and energy barriers to maximize disruption. Lyra monitored the situation, enhancing weapon power and shields, ensuring their own safety amidst the destruction. Together, they formed an unstoppable combination of human intuition and alien technology. Hours turned into a tense blur as the battle raged. Enemy ships regrouped, attempting to regain control, but Alex's strategies anticipated their moves. He predicted their responses, creating new diversions, using gravitational anomalies and asteroid fields to control the battlefield. The enemy fleet, though technologically superior, struggled against the unpredictability and ingenuity of a human mind. Amidst the battle, Alex noticed a smaller vessel attempting to escape. It carried critical information, communications that could expose human colony locations. Without hesitation, he directed a squad of drones to intercept it, calculating the fastest trajectory and the most efficient approach. The vessel was captured intact, and the intelligence it carried provided valuable insight into the enemy's next moves. Lyra studied the captured data, her expression focused. "This information is crucial. With it, we can anticipate their strategy and prepare the colonies accordingly." Alex felt a surge of determination. "We're not just defending, we're turning the tide. Humanity isn't just surviving. We're showing the universe what we can do." The enemy fleet, realizing the effectiveness of Alex and Lyra's tactics, attempted a desperate counterattack. A massive cruiser broke formation, targeting the station directly with overwhelming firepower. Shields flared, energy barriers absorbed the impact, but Alex knew they couldn't hold indefinitely. He glanced at Lyra, her expression unwavering. "We need a decisive move, something that will force them to retreat or destroy their capacity to strike." Alex formulated a bold plan. They would use the station itself as a lure, appearing vulnerable to draw the enemy fleet into a narrow corridor where precision strikes and gravitational manipulation could neutralize the largest ships. Lyra analyzed the approach, confirming the calculations. "It is dangerous," she said, "but with exact timing it may succeed." They executed the maneuver flawlessly. The station moved as if retreating, appearing weak and exposed. The enemy fleet advanced, overconfident in their perceived advantage. Alex directed drones and energy barriers with split-second timing, guiding ships into traps, steering them into gravitational anomalies, and exposing their vulnerable points. The result was spectacular. Enemy cruisers collided with debris, smaller ships were caught in energy nets, and the remaining forces were forced to retreat in disarray. Alex allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction. The colonies were safe, the immediate threat neutralized, and humanity had proven itself in a way that no one, not even Lyra, could have predicted. Lyra looked at him, her glowing eyes reflecting awe and respect. You have done something extraordinary, Alex. You have shown the universe the power of human strategy, courage, and creativity. Your people are capable of feats even my kind cannot achieve. Alex exhaled, the tension finally easing slightly. We did it together, he said. Humans have courage, but we can't do everything alone. Allies matter too, Lyra nodded. True. But it was your intuition, your unpredictability that made the difference. Never underestimate your kind. As the station settled after the battle, Alex reflected on the events. The enemy fleet was temporarily halted, but the war was far from over. He understood that future encounters would be even more dangerous, requiring new strategies, faster thinking, and unwavering courage. But he also realized that humanity had something unique, the ability to adapt, improvise, and stand against overwhelming odds. Lyra approached him, her tone softer now. You have proven yourself beyond measure. Rest for now. Tomorrow we prepare for the next challenge. The colonies will need your guidance and the enemy will not remain idle. Alex nodded, exhaustion heavy in his limbs. He lay back in the observation chair, staring at the stars. Despite the fatigue, he felt a deep sense of accomplishment. They had faced a threat far greater than themselves and had emerged victorious, not through brute force but through intelligence, courage, and human ingenuity. The stars shimmered endlessly beyond the viewport, indifferent and eternal. Yet within that vastness, Alex understood something vital. Humans had a place among the stars, capable of achieving extraordinary things when they relied on their minds, their courage, and their determination. Lyra continued to monitor the systems, a silent guardian, ensuring that the station remained secure. Alex closed his eyes, allowing himself to rest, knowing that the next battle would demand even more. But he was ready. Humanity was ready. And somewhere beyond the distant stars, the enemy fleet regrouped, unaware that they had been outmaneuvered not by technology alone, but by the unpredictable, brilliant, and courageous human mind. For the first time, Alex truly felt the weight of what it meant to be human in a galaxy filled with unimaginable challenges. Strength was not just in weapons, shields, or alien technology. It was in thinking, adapting, and daring to act when no one else would. The victory was hard-earned, but it was proof. Humans could stand against impossible odds, and with courage and ingenuity, they could change the course of the universe. Alex awoke to the soft hum of the station, the remnants of the previous battle still echoing in his mind. The stars outside were calm now, silent witnesses to the chaos they had survived. Lyra stood beside the main console, reviewing the latest data. Her expression was serious, yet there was a faint glow in her eyes, a sign of hope and determination. They've regrouped, she said. The enemy fleet is not destroyed, only delayed. They will attempt another assault, possibly coordinated across multiple systems. We must act quickly to secure human colonies before they can strike again. Alex swung his legs over the edge of the observation chair, feeling the familiar weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had learned a lot over the past days. The strength of human ingenuity, the unpredictability of human thought, and the resilience that allowed humanity to face seemingly insurmountable challenges. He took a deep breath. Then we finish this, he said. No more waiting. We take the fight to them and end it decisively. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. I will rely on your guidance, Alex. Your understanding of human strategy and improvisation is crucial. They began preparations immediately. Alex studied the enemy fleet's latest movements, analyzing patterns, timing, and potential weaknesses. He proposed a daring plan. Instead of waiting to react, they would use the station's advanced technology and their combined intelligence to launch a coordinated strike directly at the heart of the enemy fleet. We'll need to divide their attention, Alex explained. We create decoys, lure them into controlled zones, and strike at the command ships. Disrupt leadership and the rest will falter. It's risky, but it's our best chance, Lyra nodded. Your plan is bold, but boldness is required. Hours passed as they deployed drones, energy decoys, and stealth signals to confuse the enemy. Alex monitored every movement, predicting reactions and adjusting tactics in real time. Lyra enhanced the station's weapons, shields, and cloaking technology, creating a perfect synergy between human intuition and alien engineering. Finally, the enemy fleet appeared on the edge of the controlled zone. Thousands of ships gleamed in the void, moving with terrifying precision. Alex felt his pulse quicken. He took a deep breath, centering himself. "Remember," he said to Lyra, "focus on the command vessels. If we disable them, the fleet's coordination will collapse." Lyra's hands flew over the console, initiating the attack sequence. "Ready," she said, eyes glowing steadily. Alex activated the decoy signals, drawing smaller ships into false targets. Enemy scouts reacted immediately, moving toward the simulated human convoys. At the same time, he guided the station's precision drones and weapons toward the enemy command ships. The corridor of space became a carefully orchestrated trap, each movement calculated to perfection. The attack was swift and precise. Energy beams tore through enemy shields, drones disabled critical systems, and the command ships were hit with overwhelming force. Explosions lit the void as the fleet's leadership crumbled. Smaller vessels, no longer coordinated, faltered and scattered. Alex and Lyra worked tirelessly, adapting strategies as the battle evolved. They anticipated enemy maneuvers, predicting attempts to regroup and counterattack. Every decision, every adjustment amplified the effectiveness of their combined efforts. The enemy fleet, once an unstoppable force, was now in disarray. As the battle raged, Alex realized something remarkable. Humanity's strength was not just in weapons or numbers, but in creativity, courage, and adaptability. The enemy had relied on predictable patterns, precise logic, and overwhelming technology. Humans, by contrast, acted in ways that could not be anticipated. That unpredictability, combined with determination and intelligence, was more powerful than any weapon. Hours passed like minutes. The final command ship was disabled, its systems failing, and the remaining fleet began a chaotic retreat. Alex allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction, watching as the enemy forces scattered across the stars. Humanity had not only survived but had struck a decisive blow against a technologically superior foe. Lyra's glowing eyes met his. "You have done what few could imagine, Alex. The enemy fleet is in retreat and human colonies are secure. Your people have proven their worth in the galaxy." Alex nodded, exhaustion heavy in his body but a sense of pride filling his chest. "We did it together," he said. "Humans and allies. That's what makes us strong." Lyra smiled faintly. "Indeed. But never forget the power of human ingenuity and courage. It is unique in the universe." Today, it saved countless lives. As the station recovered from the battle, Alex and Lyra coordinated with human colonies, ensuring communications were restored, defenses strengthened, and resources prepared for any future threats. Alex was impressed by the resilience of human settlements. They were adaptable, organized, and ready to act when given the right guidance. During a rare quiet moment, Alex stepped to the observation deck and gazed at the stars. He thought about the journey that had brought him here, from months of solitary observation to facing a fleet that could have destroyed humanity itself. He realized that humans were not just survivors. They were innovators, leaders, and problem solvers capable of feats that even advanced alien civilizations respected. Lyra approached quietly, standing beside him. "You have proven the value of human creativity and courage," she said softly. "The universe will remember this day, and I will remember you, Alex." Alex smiled faintly. "I couldn't have done it alone. Humanity thrives because we work together and we adapt. We never give up." Lyra's eyes glowed brighter, almost like a celebration of the truth in his words. "And that is why you are remarkable. Not because of your technology, not because of your weapons, but because of your mind, your courage, and your willingness to act when others hesitate." Alex felt a wave of exhaustion and relief wash over him. The battle was over, but the lessons remained. Humans were capable of extraordinary things. Courage, adaptability, and intelligence could turn the tide even in the darkest moments. And with allies like Lyra, humanity could face the universe confidently, ready to meet any challenge. As night, or the station's equivalent, fell, Alex allowed himself to rest. Lyra continued monitoring systems, ensuring stability and safety, a silent guardian in the quiet aftermath of victory. Alex closed his eyes, reflecting on the journey, the battles, and the courage required to face the unknown. He understood that the war was far from over. The universe was vast, full of challenges, threats, and wonders beyond imagination. But humanity had proven something crucial. They were not weak. They were not insignificant. and they were capable of incredible feats. And somewhere in the distant darkness, the remnants of the enemy fleet regrouped, unaware that they had been defeated not by superior firepower or numbers, but by the unpredictable brilliance of a human mind and the courage to act when it mattered most. Alex felt a quiet pride. Humanity had a place among the stars, not just as explorers but as a force to be reckoned with. Their ingenuity, creativity, and courage could overcome even the most daunting odds. Lyra's presence beside him was a reminder that humans were not alone. Allies, trust, and cooperation amplified their abilities. Together they could face any threat, overcome any challenge, and protect the future of human civilizations scattered across the galaxy. As the station drifted peacefully among the stars, Alex allowed himself a deep breath, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. He had faced fear, chaos, and overwhelming odds, and he had survived. Humanity had survived, and he knew that no matter what came next, humans would endure, adapt, and prevail. Because even in the vast, indifferent cosmos, human courage and ingenuity shone brightly, unyielding, and unstoppable. The stars outside the viewport stretched endlessly, a silent testament to the challenges and possibilities of the universe, and Alex, standing beside Lyra, understood that humanity's story among the stars was only beginning. They had faced the enemy, defended countless lives, and proven the unmatched value of human creativity and courage. And now, as the station settled into calm, Alex allowed himself to hope, not just for survival but for the bright, limitless future humanity could achieve among the stars.